Hello. So here we are on the 1st of September 2019. So, I was watching the news today and I could think of two words. Goodness gracious. Now, this channel is not the channel to be discussing non-gardening news on, so we won't go there. But I'm sure many of you are aware of many of the things occurring all over the world at the moment. So there we are. So what am I thinking? Well, I think that in my lifetime it is now more important than ever to be growing our own food, no matter on how small a scale. So many people watching this channel will remember rationing, either during World War II or indeed after it, because if I'm not mistaken, rationing continued here in the UK into the 50s. Please comment down below if you have any memory of rationing, and if you want to add a few things to the subject, please feel free to comment down below. But are the days ending where which we can simply rely on food being provided to us, for a relatively low price? For instance, we all know how relatively cheap a bag of onions or a bag of carrots are. And in the past, I remember how relatively cheap a bag of potatoes were. But bought a portion of chips the other day. I do indeed enjoy my chips from the chip shop, and they're about £1.80 to £2 a portion. And a fair degree of this will be because the cost of potatoes has gone up. So if you think about, take for instance last year, that long dry period, it wasn't so good for crops such as potatoes, because of course they couldn't make the size that is ideal. So therefore, if there's not as much of something, then it's only natural that and understandable that the price does indeed have to go up. So whether it's to do with availability, to do with whatever reason, whether it be human input or weather input or whatever input, like today for instance, had some beautiful chips that you're going to think I'm a bit of a sort of consistent consumer of chips, and to a degree I am actually. I do enjoy chips, but it's very relevant to this discussion because today I had some chips yet again. But these chips came from the Desiree potatoes that I grew here. So you may remember the video, what was it, the potato reveal I did. I think it was a week or so ago, something like that. But yeah, made a load of those into chips today, and very nice they were too. And with that, I had some spinach from the garden, and I also had a rather large beetroot that was given to me. It wasn't from this garden, it was from somewhere else, but the person that owned this big bit of beetroot didn't want it, so I had it. But was indeed, as far as I know, homegrown. So there we go. So my entire meal today, okay, one could say that the the oil that the chips were fried in, okay, didn't come from here, but the potatoes and the vegetables all came from here. And I've spoken about this before, the 5% aim, and my aim is to grow 5% of the food that I eat, ideally more. But I think it's very important that one chooses a reasonable goal and one that is indeed achievable, in order to not become disappointed or despondent or whatever reason. So, your goal might be 1%, it might be less than 1%. Here comes the really cool modern music. But yeah, so yeah, with regards to what you're going to grow, so if you're living in a flat or an apartment and you've got very limited time, resources, whatever, a few salad leaves on your windowsill, for your little tomato plants, a chilli plant, whatever. You know, if you've got a medium to small size garden, such as myself, then 5%, if you indeed have the time, the want and the will to, to put towards this goal, it could indeed be very achievable. If you've got a bigger garden and got your own allotment or whatever, loads of time or more time, then maybe go for more than 5%. But so let's say it's three meals a day on average, isn't it? So that's 21 meals a week. So if you provide enough food for one of those meals a week, imagine it if everybody who could did indeed do that, and the benefit that would have on society as a whole. You know, we wouldn't have to be farming so intensely. The transport, to deliver food wouldn't need to be so much. Of course, job generation, etc., is another subject entirely, to do with the distribution of foodstuffs, whatever, but that's not what... That is relevant, but I'm not going to talk about that here, right now. But what I'm saying is if you can go for a reasonable and achievable goal, we are coming up to the perfect time of year to start planning and thinking towards that, because things should start slowing down soon, and it should give one a bit more headspace to start thinking. I'm certainly going to be doing it. I've achieved, what I wanted to achieve so far this year, and a lot of that was getting the permaculture crops in, and the rest of it, you probably got the impression that it was just, a bit by the by, but I've got the permaculture things in, and next year I'm going to really be upping the ante on, the other crops as well, so stay tuned. But, if you can achieve or aim for 5%, very good, but aim for something achievable, and I believe that you can do it, but make sure it's achievable and relevant to the situation that you are currently in. If you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.